All right, everybody, how's it going? It is Tuesday, August 22nd, 2023, and of course that means, we just finished with week 2 of the NFL preseason, so it's only natural, it's only the right thing to move on to week 3 of the preseason, the final week. Of course, next week it's kind of a bye week. They get like a week to recover, to get ready, and then of course on September 7th, the Lions play the Chiefs, and then September 10th, the season opens, so we're right there. We're literally right around the corner. Everything's coming up nice. It's been a pretty good preseason. We've avoided major injury to a bunch of key major players. There's been some, of course, but for the most part, it's been a pretty lucky, knock on wood, preseason. We went 7-7-2 last week, so that's not the worst, not the greatest. We're 15-15-2, so we're 500 on the run. Pretty good. I don't know. Really, we could just get into it. If you can, leave a like, subscribe. Make sure you also leave your picks and all that down below if you do picks and what you think of the picks and all that. The comments are the most important thing for these. I like to see what people are thinking as well. I know for the regular season, most people also make picks, but, if you do for the preseason, make sure you leave them and subscribe and like if you're new. Sorry to put that at the beginning of the video, but it does actually help the video do better. It's kind of weird, but I don't know. Anyway, that's enough of the YouTube stuff, and the comments are the most important thing if you guys do picks yourself. So let's just jump right into Thursday night football. We have a couple games to go over. We have, of course, to begin the evening, it's the 7:30 game. It'll be the Steelers playing the Falcons. Steelers are it's in Atlanta, so the Steelers are favored by 4.5 with an over/under of 38.5. Of course, the lines are always included from FanDuel. We put them in literally right before we record. We already made the picks. It's just the line is added just so people can have it and people like it, so they don't influence my picks. The Steelers beat the Bills 27-15, and the Falcons, of course, tied the Bengals 13-13. The reason I like the Steelers in this is because it seems like they're trying pretty hard this preseason. They seem to be a pretty good team. They've got solid depth. They seem to be clicking on most sides of the ball with the way they handled the Bills, especially their defense, which had the Bills starting offense looking really out of sync and out of touch and just not really comfortable at any point. So I'm thinking that excuse me, I have a weird cold or something, I'm not sure. But with the Falcons, I'm not really sure if they're going to be able to keep up with that. They're already kind of a limited offense as it is, and they're going up against the defense that seems to be rather good, even with depth and everything. So I like the Steelers to win this. Falcons could put up a thing, but I mean, if you can't really beat the Bengals, who don't try in the preseason, it's hard to pick you against a team that might be trying a little bit here in the preseason. All right, so we move on to the 8 o'clock game. Excuse me, had to get a drink of water. But the Colts play the Eagles in Philadelphia. The Colts are favored by 4.5. The Colts beat the Bears 24-17, and of course the Eagles tied with the Browns 18-18. There were 2 ties this weekend. Isn't that crazy? But yeah, I like the Colts in this one. I don't really know how hard the Eagles are trying in this preseason. Plus, I haven't really seen anything out of their backup units that really made me go, wow, look at how good these guys are. I mean, they're a great starting team, and we'll probably see some of the starting unit for a little bit. But I wonder, once those guys leave the game, do the Colts kind of take over and take the game away? Plus, Shane Steichen kind of knows how to beat the Eagles really well. He knows the ins and outs of the team, the functions of it, so he probably knows what the depth looks like, and he probably has a pretty solid game plan for what the Eagles are going to do, compared to where I think Sirianni has something similar. He just doesn't know the Colts coaching staff as well as Steichen might know his, you know what I mean? It's kind of it's especially with a depth battle, it seems like I kind of like the coordinator who knows the entire team in a depth battle against a team that might just be going through the motions, trying to avoid injury and just kind of getting through the preseason. The Colts have a lot to prove, so give me the Colts over the Eagles in a game that's determined in the second half. Friday night football, few games to go over here. All the good games are on this day. 8 o'clock, the Lions play the Panthers in Carolina. Panthers are favored by 4.5 with an over/under of 36.5. Lions lost 25-7 to the Jags. The Panthers lost to the Giants 21-19. I like the Panthers in this one mainly because the Lions from what I've seen in their couple preseason games, their backup depth on offense isn't the greatest. Like the quarterback situation's kind of bad. The backup receivers aren't great. The backup line is it's okay. They don't really run the ball that well with the backups. So it's just kind of like this weird thing where it's like the Lions are a really good starting team, but I don't know about their depth. And I also don't know how hard they're trying in the preseason when they have all these expectations. They're probably trying to avoid injury. They're just trying to go through the motions. You know what I mean? It's like we don't really know how much of the Lions starters we're even going to see, maybe for a little while. But it's kind of like when the backups come in, do they have enough to keep up with this Panthers team? I don't think so. Plus the Panthers are at home, so I kind of like that. All right, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard. The New England Patriots take on the Tennessee Titans. Patriots are favored by 2.5 with an over/under of 38.5. The Patriots beat the Packers in kind of a weird game that was suspended, where the Packers were on a drive in the fourth quarter. It's kind of Isaiah Bolden got hurt, got taken out on a stretcher, so the two teams just ended the game. But so the Patriots did win, but it's kind of weird. And the Titans beat the Vikings 24-16. I'm right about that. I don't know. I just picked the Patriots because I like them more than the Titans. Kind of liked what I've seen out of the Patriots, really. Their defenses look pretty solid, except for really against they can't really stop the pass, but it's like this kind of weird tension of like, it doesn't seem like they're trying too hard to stop anybody, but just like getting like weird timing things down on defense where it's like, yeah, go ahead. Because it's not like they're like giving up bombs or anything. It's just all these weird little dump off passes that are just going for like 5-6 yards at a time. And it's like, are they just giving those up because it's a preseason? Like, you know what I mean? Kind of like a weird tension there. So we'll see. I don't know. I think the Titans won their last game because they played the Vikings, and I don't think the Vikings are trying at all in the preseason. So I don't know. This game is kind of tough. Either team could really win. I just like the Patriots, so I picked them. It's the preseason. Who cares? Anyway, it's 10 o'clock. The 10 o'clock game will be the Chargers taking on the 49ers in San Francisco. 49ers are favored by 7.5 with an over/under of 37. The Chargers are coming off a a loss versus Saints, 22-17, and the 49ers off a 1-point win versus the Broncos. I don't know. I'm kind of just picking the 49ers because I don't really know how hard the Chargers are going to be trying. It's right before the regular season, so they kind of might just play it a little easy, especially in the second half, where I think the 49ers can come and kind of take the game with the second half, mainly because they do have like this weird backup quarterback battle going on between Lance and Sam Darnold. So there's like this effort coming from like their second and third team, which could pretty much flip the game in their favor as it gets into like the second half or maybe the fourth quarter. That's kind of where a lot of these games will flip, because the starters will be in for a while, and then you'll see probably like the Chargers winning or like the Lions winning, and then all of a sudden the backups will come in and flip these games around and make it so like the 49ers win, the Panthers win. That's kind of how I feel on a lot of these games this week. It's a weird week. It's like, because we don't know how much of the starters we're going to see, how little of them. The Seattle Seahawks take on the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 3 with an over/under of 40.5. We just said the Packers lost in a weird one, and the Seahawks beat the Cowboys 22-14. Basically, I'm just kind of looking at this game going, well, the Packers are home. They've been trying in the preseason. They've looked pretty solid for this entire preseason. We'll probably see a good chunk of the starters, and I think the Packers have just a little bit better starters than the Seahawks, especially on the offensive side of the ball, probably really on the defensive side. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of like the Packers in this one. And when it goes to the backups, I've liked what I've seen out of the Packers backups. Yeah. Plus, something to play for. You're at home trying to end a perfect preseason. I don't know. Let's see what else we got going on. The Arizona Cardinals take on the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are favored by 1 with an over/under of 36. Cardinals lost 38-10, and we already said the Vikings lost 24-16. This is a really big who gives a shit game. Basically, if we're going to see any bit of the starters in this game, the Minnesota should just run away with this, and Arizona might come back a little bit at the end, but based on the way they looked against the Chiefs, who don't really care about the preseason, oh boy, I don't really know what the Cardinals are going to do this year. They're going to be the worst team in football, and it's going to be aggressive. It's going to be an aggressive bad. Holy shit. The Browns take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. Browns are favored by 3.5 with an over-under of 40.5. Browns tied with the Eagles, and we just said the Cardinals beat the. We already went over their games basically. Yeah, I don't know. I like that it's in Kansas City, so a little bit of favor to the Chiefs. I like that we'll probably see a good chunk of the starters with like Watson, Mahomes, and I kind of like the Chiefs starting unit a little bit more than the Browns starting unit, especially since we've kind of seen a little bit of the Chiefs unit and it looked pretty okay. So we'll probably see. I don't know. I just, from what I've seen out of the Browns and from what I've seen out of the Chiefs looked really good against the Cardinals last week, and the Browns have been like tying people, barely beating them, losing. So I'm like, all right, well. You know, after the way that they, I don't know. There's just something in my head that's like blocking something. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I feel like the Chiefs will win this game. It's a preseason game though, so I don't know. They could blow it. Who cares? Thank you for watching, by the way. I do appreciate it if you're still here giving a listen. I can't wait for the games to actually mean something and to actually like go over real picks. The Bills play the Bears. The Bears are favored by 1 with an over-under of 38.5. The game's in Chicago, so I could see why. The Bills lost to the Steelers 27-15, and the Bears lost to the Colts 24-16. I think since we're going to see the starters in this game for a little bit from either team, for a little while anyway, I would imagine that the favor should be on the Bills. As long as they come out and they don't look like they did against the Steelers, which I don't think they will. The Bills should get a comfortable enough lead to be able to hold off the Bears' backup offense and win the game. It's kind of how I feel about this one. So give me the Bills comfortably over the Bears, even though the score might be a little closer than it might actually look. Sunday, or some more Saturday football. A lot of games on Saturday this week. Pretty much all of them are on Saturday. Oh, the Battle of New York. The Jets take on the Giants. Ooh, it's in New York, so you know it's at their stadium, both team stadium. The Jets are favored by 4.5 with an over/under of 38.5. Jets coming off a tough loss, 13-6. The Panthers coming off the Giants coming off a. What did they do? Did they win? What the hell happened? I got to go see the Panthers record. Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember. They played the Panthers in the finals 21-19. I guess I'll figure out. I think they won. Yeah, they won. They won. Because the Lions beat them. And then the Giants won against the Panthers. Basically it's like it's kind of another one of those Lions, and it's one of those like games where I see the start of the game going a little different than the finish, where I see the Jets maybe going up like a decent lead with Aaron Rodgers in and the starting units in and like kind of looking good as like the Jets that we'll see later this in week 1. I do think, though, that when everything flips and the backup units come out, that's when the game kind of changes. Because, again, you know, the Jets' backups really didn't do anything against a depleted Bucs team. And then the Giants are out here doing pretty good against the Lions and Panthers. So we're going to see, like, the Giants' backup units come out, put up a game, and then probably take the lead and probably win the game in, like, the second half or fourth quarter type situation. Like we've kind of said for a few games. I could see the Jets leading early, then the Giants winning late, kind of. Probably a common theme for this week. 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's the Bengals taking on the Commanders. The Commanders are 2-0 after beating the Ravens and ending their 24-game win streak. What a lackluster accomplishment. And the Commanders are favored by 4.5 with an over/under of 37. The Bengals don't try in the preseason, so don't expect them to try here. They'll probably lose. They're 0-1-1. They tied the Falcons, which is embarrassing for Atlanta. Give me the Commanders 21-16 in a pretty easy game for them. All right. 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. The Baltimore Ravens take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's only 3 games left. The Ravens are 1.5-point favorites with an over/under of 36.5. Obviously, we just went over all these games, so we don't really need to rehash them. So with this one, again, the Ravens are a better preseason team than most teams. I think their loss was kind of shitty, but they are going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that's kind of been struggling. They don't really have a good offense. Their defense is okay, so that's, you know, whatever. But again, I think the problem is their offense. I don't really like the starting unit. I don't like the backup unit. The quarterback battle's over in Tampa, so there's nothing really to fight for. It's just avoid the injuries and get through the motions and get some timing down. Baker's been named the starter, so you know, I don't know. I know Baltimore just lost their win streak, but I think they started another one here against the Bucks. Just you know, they're just a bad team. Tampa's the second worst team in football. All right. Hey, the Battle of Miami. Who's going to be the king of the South? 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. It's Miami taking on Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Jags are favored by 7 with an over-under of 40.5. Miami lost to beat the Texans 28-3. My fault. And the Jaguars beat the Lions. We've already discussed. So I don't know. This one's, it just feels like a game the Jaguars are going to win. They're taking the preseason very seriously. Both their games, they've looked very good. Like they're trying to like show something, build on something, develop something. And I would imagine we'll see a similar effort in game 3. The Dolphins did look good in game 2, but I don't really think that they're going to be trying super hard here in game 3. So, you know, it's just, I feel like it's going to be an effort thing, whereas like the Jaguars are going to try hard, and I think the Dolphins will see that and kind of scale back their game efforts to avoid getting hurt. It's like, oh shit, these guys are out here for blood for whatever reason. We might want to dial this back to 7. Jesus. I don't know. It's in Jacksonville, so I like that as well. That's about all I got for that one. I've just been more impressed by Jaguars than the Dolphins. All right, final game of the evening, I believe. Wait. There's how many more fucking games are there? Jesus Christ, dude. The Raiders play the Cowboys. The Cowboys are it's in Dallas. Raiders are favored by 5.5 with an over/under 38.5. Cowboys don't really look good this preseason. They kind of look like they're just going through the motions, avoiding injuries. So that's a big reason why I have them losing. Also, the Raiders are out here trying to kill teams. They've won both of their games in big ass fashion, and they've been kind of dominating teams doing so. So I'm wondering if the Raiders are like the preseason champions this year, and then they have like a terrible regular season. But again, they've been playing good. Aiden O'Connell looks good. Overall, the Raiders just look like a better team, and they're trying to win the preseason games. So give me a team that's trying and wanting to establish themselves right now instead of in 2 weeks. Give me the Raiders over the Cowboys. The Rams take on the Broncos. Broncos are favored by 5.5 with an over/under 36.5. Similar situation here. The Rams really don't give a shit about the preseason. To them, it's just about going through the motions and getting to the regular season. We all know Sean McVay is a very famous fuck the preseason guy. He really doesn't like it. So, you know, easy to pick against them. The Broncos are going to be looking for their first win. They lost a heartbreaker against the 49ers, and now this week they don't have to play a team that's going to try. So, hey, I'll go with the Broncos because, again, they're up against the one team in football that literally openly doesn't try in the preseason. Very easy to pick against the Rams. Final game of the preseason. Wow. It'll be Sunday Night Football. The Texans take on the Saints. Kind of a good little rivalry, you know. Saints, Houston, New Orleans, pretty close. They have like a weird linked history together over the last 20 years because of the Hurricane Katrina situation. So the Saints are 3.5-point favorites with an over/under of 38. Yeah, I like the Saints in this one. They've looked really good this preseason. They're clearly trying based on the 2-0 record, the way that they've been winning. Houston is, I don't think they're not trying. I think it's just, it is what it is. They're 1-1. They look good one week, look bad the next. Kind of hard to tell what they're going to be. The Saints seem to be what they are. I don't know. I like the Saints to win this game. They just seem like a better team. So there we go. That's all of our picks for the preseason. It was a fun preseason so far. We'll see how week 3 goes. I wonder how much worse or how much better my record's going to get. We're at exactly 500 right now, so I'm wondering what it's going to be. Your guess is as good as mine. How's your preseason going? Let me know down in the comments if you're keeping track of your records and all that. Again, thank you so much for listening all the way through. If you have, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, blah, 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 YouTube stuff, blah, 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 leave your picks, blah, blah, blah. We're keeping this under 20 minutes, so don't worry. Again, so we'll have all of our picks videos starting soon. Predictions videos will come out next week. And then, of course, on, what day is it? What day is that? the 5th of September, we'll have week 1 NFL picks video due out about noon. So that'll be pretty exciting. I'm stoked for the regular season, let me tell you. All right. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Have a good rest of your day, night, morning, mid-afternoon, mid-evening, sundown time. Whenever you listen to this, thank you. Have a good one. Thank you. Preseason's over. Let's see how this goes. Can't believe football's back, baby. Let's go. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of whenever, and peace out. Go Lions, go Tigers, and of course, it's always go Patriots. Mac Jones MVP season? Who knows? Don't respond to this statement if you think Mac Jones will win the MVP. I bet no one will respond to this. Go Mac.